Welcome back to Educate for Life. I'm your host, Kevin Conover, and we just finished up with Michael Shermer, and super fun. I've never had an opportunity to speak to him. I know about him a lot, and I refer to him quite a bit in my class as a skeptic, and that was a lot of fun. And we're gonna finish our program today with John. John's still here with me because I can't get rid of him. We're handcuffed together, and we also have the producer that's been running this for us with BuzzFeed. He's the guy who made this all possible. Jordan, how do you say your last name? Imbrey, Jordan. Okay, and Jordan's on the radio here with us, and I thought it would be cool to interview him just because I think it's a really crazy concept that we're handcuffed here together, two opposing viewpoints. So I kind of just wanted to find out, where you're coming from on this as far as, you're with BuzzFeed. I know you can't speak for BuzzFeed, but you're with BuzzFeed, and what do you think about filming this sort of thing? Like, what are your thoughts on, handcuffing people with two opposing viewpoints together?
So as far as I can remember, so we've done quite a few handcuff videos with best friends, exes, and then also some of this opposing viewpoint stuff. As far as I can recall, the first person to do it was a producer named Chris Lamb doing a liberal and conservative handcuff for 24 hours.
I saw that one, yeah.
And then more recently, another producer named Key Williams did a video where she handcuffed a Satanist and a Christian together. So having seen that video, and it was a very successful video, I immediately became interested in doing an evolutionist and a creationist, because for me, those perspectives are like the ones I'm most interested in, like in just understanding more, and also in trying to find common ground. I personally believe that one of the biggest problems we're having right now as a country is the inability to listen to each other and also empathize. Like, I feel like people who are on the left are often totally unsympathetic to people who are religious, and people who are religious are often totally unsympathetic to people who aren't. And I think like any kind of content that I can make that reminds everybody that we're all people, and most people want good things for other people too, is a good thing. And that's what my goal is in doing this kind of video. Yeah,
I think that's so cool that you have that concept in mind and are doing that, because I totally agree that a lot of times what happens is you have one person over here that hates the other person because of their view, and this person hates the other person because of their view, and then you bring them together and you find out, hey, like you said, we're all people, and a lot of times we have the same goals in mind. We just have different ways that we think are going to work to get there. So that's really cool. John, what do you think about that? What do you think about the whole handcuff experience so far?
Oh, it's it's been a gas. It's been strange, and I think it is a good thing, because I think anybody should have not just the opportunity. Anybody should make themselves have the opportunity to hear out the other side. I mean, what is the rules of debates? Make sure that you present your opponent in a way that they would say, yes, that is my opinion.
Oh, that's great. I love that too. And that makes a lot of sense, because a lot of times you end up arguing with somebody who doesn't exist because you don't actually understand where they're coming from.
And some skeptic nerd out there is going to correct me and explain and say exactly what that principle is. I forget the name of it. I'm constantly talking to an audience of nitpicky haters. And it's a little discouraging, because you get a lot of love. Like you're like, hey, I think this is true. And they're like, yeah, preach it, brother. And I'm like, I think this is true. They're like, what do you mean by true? Like, what's your evidence? What's your sources?
What do you mean by what?
And and even though like we're agreed 100%, they're like, no, that's not really the proper use of that term. So
that's hilarious. So working for BuzzFeed, Jordan, do you guys just come up with your own videos that you're like, oh, I think this is going to work, or how does that work?
There's a variety of ways we come up with videos. There's brainstorming together. There's working from videos that already exist and using those as examples. And then there's also just novel ideas that we come up with ourselves.
If you go rogue, like completely just, I got my own crazy, brand new, strange little thing, how much of a I assume you would get a smaller budget for the rogue stuff. Like, guys, I got a wacky idea. I have no idea if it's going to work.
I mean, we operate on pretty small budgets for pretty much everything. So that's just kind of the
That's
way it is.
normal. It doesn't matter whether it's rogue or not. Right?
Yeah. I can't get into the specifics on that stuff.
No pressure.
Okay, sure. And then I was going to ask you. So far, what you've seen out of the handcuff scenarios that you've seen others put together and maybe yourself put together, what have you liked the most so far, and what do you feel like? Wow, that is ideal with what I was looking for.
I mean, I think the best one for me was there's two that I like the best. One was the Satanist and Christian one that Key did, and the other was the X's. Those are my two favorite, which the X's I think was done by Kelly Diamond. And those two videos, I think like it's sort of a question of like, for me, any video is about like the stakes and the drama and the emotional journey. And so the X's video has natural stakes and drama because it's two people who have some reason they stopped seeing each other. So there's probably a reason, something they don't like about each other. And then we see both them kind of coming back together and enjoying each other's company in spite of having broken up. But we also see them relive some of their frustrations with each other. And for me, content is most interesting when it's nuanced and human and not like giving me a clear, this is what you should take away. And instead it's just like, here is what it is to be a human being. And similarly, the Satanist and Christian video, they fundamentally disagree, but you can see that they like each other. And there's just this human like connection, and they're both kind people, and they rib each other and they tease each other. But like you look in their eyes and you're like, these two people like each other.
That was, my question is, the X's, they didn't get back together, did they?
As far as I know, they did not get back together. The video has an ambiguous moment within it, which I'll let you check out for yourself.
Because I was going to say, if you're going to continue, if you make another X's video, in my mind, the only motivation to keep doing them is until you get that couple that reunites. Once you get that, then it's done.
So I have an anecdote related to that. I, like 2 years ago, was doing videos called X's Relive Their First Kiss. And so I just have them like talk through how their first kiss went down, try to remember it, try to do it again, and just see like if any sparks fly.
That is so BuzzFeed.
And so
that's too funny.
This couple had this amazing thing where they like were mad at each other, and then they reconnected, and then they were like, we're gonna go home together. And I was like, holy shit, I just locked in the best video I've ever made.
You can't cuss on Christian radio, dude.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. That's okay. We can edit that out.
I'll just start it. I was like, wow, that's the best video I've ever made. And then
you were like, I'm making a difference in the world right now.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, their lives maybe. And then,
that's awesome.
But then when the video was finished, I was sending it out to our research department for the last few checks, and one guy was suspicious. He didn't buy it. He looks them up, and we find out that they're YouTube pranksters who do these fake engagement videos. They're not even dating. Like, they never dated.
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
They're just good actors.
But you guys caught it.
I'm sad we caught it, to be honest. I would rather put the video.
Yeah, that took all the meaning out of his life right there. That's awful.
But then they would have been like, we got you, BuzzFeed.
Yeah, no, they definitely were hoping to be like, we caught the big fish. But
Yeah.
So what happened? So did you guys just take it down, or?
Yeah, we just never did anything else with it. I still have the footage. I have been wanting to prank them back for years, but I haven't thought of a good enough prank that didn't just make me look like a sore loser.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I got to make a confession to make. I'm actually an evolutionist. So.
Huh.
Oh, okay.
No,
I thought so. Yeah. No, in this video did it right. It was all me.
That's right. That's right. That's hilarious. Well, we're coming up on a break. We're going to have a little bit more time with Jordan and John here, and we're actually going to be after the program here. We're going to be taking the handcuffs off, right?
Yeah.
So that's an exciting moment. But you're going to have to go over to the BuzzFeed video in order to check that out. We're not going to do that on my program here.
BuzzFeed, not college humor.
Yeah. In the meantime, here we go. So we'll be right back. Stay with us. Hi, this is Kevin Conover. Will you please donate to Educate for Life so we can share the truth of God's Word with kids in public schools? You can donate online at donatetoefl.org. The Bible used to be read in public schools on a regular basis prior to the 1960s, but today most kids are completely clueless when it comes to the content and the historical and scientific accuracy of the Bible. Please help us by donating online at donatetoefl.org.
I'm giving it all away.
Okay, thanks for being back with us today. I'm your host, Kevin Conover. My website's educateforlife.org. And, I know that there's a lot of people that listen to this station that have no idea what BuzzFeed is. They're like, what? BuzzFeed? What is that, right? And so, Jordan, what's the website? Just BuzzFeed.com, right?
Yeah, BuzzFeed.com or YouTube.com/BuzzFeed video.
Those
Okay.
are websites on the internet. The internet is a medium communication distribution network.
I was
on
giving
computers.
out a thumb drive to a guy the other day, and he goes, "Hey, now what do I do with this thing?"
Oh, ouch.
There's a lot of old people at my church.
Ouch.
So, and John, tell our listeners your website again in case they want to check out your stuff.
I would say just go to youtube.com/skepticallypwned, PWND. I actually have a website. I actually have, www.skepticallypwned.com. But here's the deal. I did a video a couple years ago. It's knocking on like 3.5 million hits. Like 11,000 comments.
Tell them what the. Are you going to tell them what the video is? You got to tell them.
I could, but first the anecdote. I
Yeah.
had a super popular video, 3.5 million hits, 11,000 comments. One person messaged me and said, "Hey, did you know your website's down?" Websites are a dead thing. Nobody goes to websites. The only
that's-
people that have
You're
websites
depressing me
are-
right here. I just spent money on rebuilding my website.
on a website. You spent money on a website?
I did.
Just throw up a WordPress that points to your Twitter and YouTube page.
Okay, well, John,
unless you're BuzzFeed.
I'm gonna have to get you as a consultant.
Right?
Yeah.
But no, we did a video, and it's the weirdest thing. It's the most popular thing I've ever done. It is a 15-minute long video explaining in detail why someone else is wrong about archery.
Sounds like a skeptical thing to do.
It is a skeptical thing to do, but it's a very asinine and very niche skeptical thing that I thought, okay, the writer has a lot of friends. I got a decent amount of subscribers.
This was the archery guy, right?
Yeah.
So 15-minute archery explainer is your biggest video.
Yeah.
Or have you followed it up? Have you done any swordplay explainers?
No, see, and I should really do that whole, well, what's working today, fellas? But really, the big lesson I walked away from is nobody knows anything.
Amen.
Yeah.
Is that your experience too?
Mostly.
Yeah, just try anything. See what sticks. It's like that ranty video we always see from, what is that rock star's name? Zappa, Frank Zappa. He's always like, man, back in the old day, you walked in, the old guy with the suit and the tie, he didn't know what he was talking about, but he knew it. He's like, I have no idea what the kid's like, but let's throw some money at it. Let's see what works. And now you get the cool dude with the ponytail who thinks he understands what everybody wants. And so they try and fit you in this bottle, man, and the business crashes. They're like, but we read the demographics. We know what the kid's like. And that's just my little...
But who's got the ponytail anymore? Now everyone's got shaved sides of their heads.
I don't know. I'm trying to avoid going with a man bun. I won't go man bun.
That's crazy. I can't go man bun or ponytail or anything. That's what's depressing. But hey, so Jordan, what's next on the? Are you allowed to share what some of the ideas running through your head about what you're going to do next? Are you going to do more handcuff videos, or are those out of vogue?
No, they're certainly in vogue. I might do more.
Well, forget BuzzFeed for a moment. What do you do, Jordan? What's your ambition? What's your I got a script for a pilot kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm a screenwriter and a director. I write I ideally want to run shows. I write kind of fantasy, sci-fi, and dramedy.
Oh, cool. So who's your favorite fantasy author?
I actually don't read much
Oh,
fantasy.
you don't? Okay.
But I mean, like Game of Thrones would be my biggest inspiration as a show. I've read some of the books. I've read parts of the books. I haven't read any of the books. But the script I'm working on right now is a fantasy about humans going extinct and animals evolving to semi-human form and human level intelligence, and they worship evolution in the same way people in our world worship Christianity. It's like a religion to them.
Whoa, that I would read that book. I actually thought about a book similar to that. I was going to call it The Evolutionist, but it was going to have to do with evolution and all that stuff. That's cool.
Thank you.
So how far are you? Have you made any progress on that, or is it still just?
I have a finished pilot and some cover art, and I send it around here and there. But yeah.
Very cool, very cool. And what about you, John? What's next on? Do you have any vision for what's going to happen next?
Well, I'm working with the Shermanator, Michael Shermer. I'm doing videos for skeptic.com, and I'm doing my own goofy web series. But right now, I'm trying to finish a pilot, which we shot last year, and we're trying to finish it up. And it is a pilot. It's a goofy, wacky little sitcom about two atheists who happen to work in the corporate offices of not Hobby Lobby, wink, wink, hint, hint. And they're just a couple burnout atheists, and they don't happen to care that they work at a Christian corporation. And yeah, that's about it. Wackiness ensues.
That sounds like you could set up some funny scenarios in there. That'd be great. Well, cool, guys. We're almost out of time here. Any last words before we take these handcuffs off?
Do you guys like each other now?
Well, I think we liked each other kind of from the get-go. Like, Kevin's a nice, easily to communicate with guy. And a lot of what we disagree on is definitely like fundamental, like, because it's, I'm sure a douchey self-help coach has said in the past, you don't trip over a tree. It's little things. It's like little definitions, little, philosophical differences that can spin your worldview in completely different opposing ways.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed this whole time. I think John is a great guy. Really nice, easy to hang around with. Not everybody's like that. Some people they really can be antagonistic, but he's been really generous. And we had a really kind of personal conversation before we went to bed last night, and
together.
we were up talking, which was kind of weird, but it was cool because for me, it really. He shared a lot of his humanity with me and some of the struggles in life, and I got to do the same with him. And so, I think your goal was achieved, Jordan, in that. I've never spent this much time with an atheist, and I'm sad to say, but I have an atheist brother-in-law, and I've never spent 24 hours with him. And my wife and I spent a lot of time together, but I've been very close to John for a long time.
Yeah.
And so it actually forces you to kind of dig below the surface. Like, you can't stay surfacey I guess you could, but it gives you the opportunity to dig below the surface, and you get to know a person in a deeper way. And I think, I think that's one area where we can definitely agree is that we need to take time to get to know people and see where they're at and where they're coming from, and really just have sympathy and compassion for everybody. It's not about winning an argument. It's really about, okay, hey, how can I meet this person where they're at and, be a positive influence in their life and those around us.
I think I told Kevin if any of my ex-girlfriends were handcuffed to him, he wouldn't have made it. He wouldn't have survived. They would have
killed me.
They would have, yeah.
So in my when I was 13, I had my bar mitzvah, and I have a very atheist aunt, and she sort of got on a pulpit in front of the rest of my family, including the other side of the family, and gave a spiel about how wrong she thought it was to indoctrinate a 13-year-old into a religion. And that was my moment of awakening, where I sort of started to question things. And I mean, I was already kind of questioning, but I was like, yeah, she's kind of right. And so I became pretty agnostic. I mean, I'd say I'm like an atheist-leaning agnostic, where I'm like closer to atheist, but I'm somewhere in between.
Sure.
And in high school, I was very adamantly sort of like her about it. And I actually made a Facebook group that was like against religion and stuff, and like invited everyone I knew to it just to like ruffle feathers. And like
hilarious.
Girls I had a crush on, I learned were Christian and completely offended by my group. And then like a bunch of my best friends were also Christian, because I grew up in North Carolina, where it's a pretty Christian place.
Yeah.
And I'd fight with them. We'd argue like crazy, and then eventually like we just learned to accept each other. And I gave up kind of on converting them to some extent. I still in some ways would like to convert people who believe in religion toward science a little more, but eventually I sort of gave up on it. But I was like, what never escaped me from that time is like that we got to see each other as people. We gotta You can love people regardless of whether you fundamentally disagree with them, and even hate some of their views.
Yeah.
I was wondering if we could come together like on one specific topic right now. Can we all agree as a group? Kirk Cameron is a terrible filmmaker.
No.
He's not a bad actor. I don't think he's a bad actor. But Kirk Cameron cannot make movies or tell stories or write scripts.
No. You're taking this in the wrong direction, John. We
It's
were
just one topic.
We
Just
were
one
ending on
week.
a really positive, like loving,
get
like
you,
kind of
Kirk Cameron.
kumbaya note here. And
Wow, the critics got there first.
Yeah, I'm gonna abstain from this one.
Oh, you
so
both leaving me out in the dust.
Hey, I just want to thank you guys for being taking the time to be here, and I want to thank Jordan, you, and BuzzFeed, and John for putting up with me and all my argumentation. But I am looking forward to getting these handcuffs off. So,
Jingle, baby.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening this Saturday. I hope you guys are having a great day out there, and look forward to sharing with you next week also. And check us out on YouTube. My website again is educateforlife.org. And we're going to have all kinds of great interviews from this, and hopefully maybe a few more, BuzzFeed connections, Lord willing. Okay, take care.
I'm giving